What's up? It's you guys, Sky. We're back with Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney Trilogy. Or, I don't know which order you're supposed to say them in. What the fuck ever, who cares? Kendra's here again.
Yeah.
April 19th, 11:21 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Oh fuck, how do I do your voice?
Deep voice man.
Right, yeah. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less. We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discovered the truth for yourself. More with this bullshit. Oh my fucking god, I hate when people do this. I was thinking of you, you know? I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You'll scare Trucy. Speaking of which, where is she? You have seen the problem yourself, the letter. The one shot in the forehead one, right? Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death. Why not? This is something I will not say, for now at least. Work with me here, for fuck's sake! What's this for now business? I've done many things in my life. Some well, some poorly. But this is a cross we must bear alone to our graves. We?
Well, who's we?
Who's we? You wanted to know about the night of the incident? Finally. This guy sure takes his time getting to the important stuff. Of course, I had no intention of ever shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time, and found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. 2 pistols. And also, no needles. I'm not seeing any needles right now.
Yeah, that's interesting.
2? Yes, the one I had used on stage, and the one that had been used by my partner, Valent. Oh, for Zack and Valent's quick draw thing? My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then, for a moment. You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him? Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first. So there were other requests you couldn't refuse before? To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I've brought pain upon Trucy. Was Magnifique coercing his disciples somehow? Just what was going on in Troop Gramarye? Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket? I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What are those called? Rifling marks. Yes, well, that is all I have to tell you concerning the case. Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can tell me? You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks? Yes, there is something. My mentor. His eyes opened. What? Magnifique Grand Marie? The old devil. He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyways. And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion, maybe 5-10 minutes or so. What did you talk about? Ha ha, Mr. Wright. Did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. I think it does, but whatever. Zach Gramarye. He seems pretty steadfast to me, or maybe just stubborn.
Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom.
Oops.
Nah, it's fine. Once again, I am in your hands. Right, let's get back in there. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. April 19th, 11:37 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 7.
Court is now back in session.
Ah, there he is!
During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out from the clown's head.
Well, this is news. And the rifling marks?
There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis. Though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon.
Convenient.
Very convenient.
Well, that's not very conclusive, is it?
Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness.
There's always a decisive witness. My god. You're a decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think.
Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job.
Miles Edgeworth. Just kidding.
It's Director Hottie from the hospital. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production. Being the other half of the Troop Grammary's famous duo, Zach and Valent.
Valent Gramarye. So we get to meet the great Magnifique's other disciple. He does have a mustache. It looks weird.
I know. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation.
Valent Gramarye, magician.
I like that Clavier is actually able to get the names and occupations out of the witnesses while Miles just simply cannot, no matter what he does, ever.
For real.
And you're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student, your partner's guilt?
Fate, the grand illusion, filled with traps and tricks. Oh, wait, the shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late? If one were to deduce this logically, then the conclusion is yes. Okay. I always get the characters, don't I?
I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this.
That looks very familiar.
Let me read it. Let me read it in detail. Wait. That's the same letter Zach Gramarye received. No, it's not. It's different. Yes. Or perhaps I should say, ta-da!
Order, order, order. What does it say? Surely not the same thing.
Not exactly.
Perhaps you should see for yourself.
Alright. To my beloved student Valent.
It's practically the same.
Practically, but not quite. To you, I entrust the task of lowering my life support. Come on the 13th, 11:20 p.m. I will ready a gun with which you will shoot one shot square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Okay, so this says a lot of things. First of all, 11:20, which is like 15 minutes after Zach got summoned. Second of all, this would back up Zach's notion of there being 2 guns present. We'll just have to see what else Valent says.
Court accepts this into evidence. This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your troop Grammarly up to?
By what you mean?
I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less.
It's just my opinion, Air Judge.
From these letters,
I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them.
We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing, shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand. You keep saying that.
Yeah.
A little suspicious. By what you mean you're not gonna tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse.
well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Grammarly, stands accused. Tell us why.
Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, red roses rise, singing hymns to the miracle that is magic. Fascinating, though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now, the 2 bullets found at the scene.
In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time.
And who it was addressed to, obviously, but whatever. Every magician knows timing is everything.
Yes. And now it's time to get this party fired up. Clavier, you devilish little scamp, you.
That night, I visited the hospital room. I forgot to read that fully. What?
Yeah, the important bit.
Hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. I'm gonna press that when we get around to it. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. I then informed the doctor and the police.
So you were the one who reported the crime.
Clavier, do we have confirmation on this? Indeed, I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a self-report in Among Us?
Let's not jump to any conclusions.
So the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in court. If your testimony proves to be true, the defendant, Zach Grammarly, is guilty.
And if it wasn't Zach Grammarly, then the killer was you, Valent. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. So, you weren't worried for your own safety at all? I mean, you smelled gunpowder, yes? What if the shooter was still nearby? That was interesting. But also, I'm not playing as Apollo right now. I'm playing as Phoenix Wright, so we can't do any psychic telespotting bullshit.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Unless we could use a different gimmick from Ace Attorney.
The Cyclops?
I don't actually remember if the Cyclops show up, but it would be cool.
Yeah. I don't think the Cyclops show up in court. I think that's specifically an out-of-court thing.
It would be funny if they did.
It would be, though. I did not consider this, to be honest. It is forbidden for a magician to have a good imagination. What?
Oh, okay. I was kind of under the impression that, like, you kind of have to have a good imagination to be a magician, because you gotta think of clever ways to trick the audience, but alright, okay, valid.
Sure, whatever. Really? Isn't magic all about illusions and imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid.
Yes.
Now you're the one imagining. It is forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination.
Okay. The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding, you weirdo.
They're really highlighting that.
My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things.
Which brings us back to this reason neither of you could refuse. So it does, and my partner, he did not refuse. But Magnifi wrote the same thing to you. Why could you refuse if Zach couldn't? Because I have a will of steel, of course. I also do this trick where I bend steel bars, so perhaps steel isn't also strong. So, which is it? Mind if I continue? Yeah. Hold it! There were 2 bullet holes at the scene. One in the victim, and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you. No doubt my partner Zach has said much of the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed the murder. I'd better dig around here a bit more and see what I can out. Mr. Valen, let me ask you about something else concerning the crime scene. Namely, it's gotta be the number of pistols, because we need him to outright say it.
Probably.
How many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valent quick draw shooting, correct? 1 for each of you. You are well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night. What did Zack tell me back in the lobby? There were 2. Dude, thanks for flashing back like 3 minutes ago.
Remember this?
This thing we said 3 minutes ago? Oh, there were 2 pistols instead of 1?
I see no problem with that statement. Only one pistol is visible in the photograph of the crime scene, after all.
The other thing I find interesting about Zach's mental recreation that it shows us is that there were no, like, needles or tools around. It was just the 2 guns. Like, whatever that pack of medical supplies is, that wasn't there either, I don't think.
Vicious.
So you picked up that pistol and fired it. Indeed I did. Alakazam, alakazing, alakaboom.
The number of pistols really so important?
Quite important.
Does Phoenix right? Of course they're important.
The number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor.
Very well. Please add this detail to your testimony.
What can I do but obey? So you took the only pistol there and fired it? That's correct. And that pistol was this one, which was left at the crime scene? A good show. I see you too are a magician of sorts. And you're an idiot of sorts. Do you have any idea
Oh,
what you just
zinger. Sees the fire in your eyes as you glare at the witness.
said? He's so observant.
I look at people's eyes quite frequently. So how about heating up this trial a bit? These slow ballads bore me. I hope I never write a ballad called The Guitar Serenade. That would suck.
I've got a hunch, but maybe that's all it is. Maybe I should ask about something else? No, I think we have the right thing up.
Yeah.
Second thought, let's run with this testimony for a while longer. Hold it! So you informed the police. What did you do then? What do you suppose I did? Use my magic to levitate my mentor's corpse, perhaps? I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Now, please answer the question and skip the sarcasm. After I made our report, I called the doctor and we returned to the room. While we waited for the police to arrive, we discussed stomach medicine.
We've confirmed this with the doctor. It all checks out. Praise Mr. Valiant's knowledge of stomach medicine, in fact.
Very interesting detail.
Ah.
It is an honor I do not deserve, but I accept. Both magnificent.
Okay, weird reaction.
Yeah, I don't know. A little silly, goofy. Both of Magnifi's students received the same order. Both admit to having gone to the hospital that night. 2 bullets were fired, and one of them killed Magnifi. Time to find the cracks in this testimony. Okay. So... we're fucking around with this somehow. I can feel it in my bones. Let's... only one pistol was...
As opposed to feeling it in your forehead.
Well, I'm not playing Apollo right now.
Yeah. Phoenix has bones, Apollo has a forehead.
Exactly. Okay, so... because, like, the implications of this statement... like, I want to make sure I cover all my bases, but honestly, I might just throw the gun at it, because, again, it's only, like, a one-shot pistol.
Yeah.
And, so, A, if a shot had already happened, there was, again, no bullet to reload that for a second shot, if there was only one gun. And second, ballistic markings. And third, it's probably the gun. This hasn't come into play yet, I don't think. I mean, no, obviously it hasn't, but it's not coming into play now, is what I'm saying. It seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks. Farewell. And again, this is the forged piece. This is the forged piece.
Yeah.
So...
I still have to figure out what it's supposed to mean.
we'll get there eventually. This is the forged piece, but we have to treat it like it's a real piece.
Because we know it's forged, but Feeny doesn't.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm trying to figure out how to put this into context currently. And there's no way to properly contextualize it, because it's just like too off. The only thing I can think of is 10 minutes.
Yeah. What was the time frame when, like, what was the difference in time between Zach showing up and Valiant showing up? Like, at least Zach leaving.
Yeah, it was a 15-minute difference.
Okay, because I was gonna say, depending on if it lines up, maybe it's supposed to be like, we're supposed to assume that, like, this is the piece that would prove that Valent did it, because it's like, okay, if Zach didn't do it, then Magnify is like writing his diary or whatever about like, okay, looks like the other one's gonna murder me.
Yeah. Because let's see. Zach was called in at 11:05, and then supposedly shot the clown, and then supposedly had a chat with Magnify for 5 to 10 minutes, which would bring them to around 11:10, 11:15.
Yeah.
And then Valent entered 5 to 10 minutes later at 11:20. So this whole 10 swift minutes thing, that's gotta be like the only... I think that's the only relevant thing in this forged evidence.
Yeah.
And so then I think because Valent was scheduled after, that'll be what gives us a hand up.
Probably.
Whatever. It's too early for this, I believe. Only one pistol, you say? I wouldn't be so sure.
Objection!
According to the defendant, Zach Gramery, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table.
Ooh!
One of those pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left with it in his pocket.
Of course, this is what he would say.
I was gonna say, like, fucking Zach's word alone is not gonna be sufficient right now.
Yeah. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head.
Or, you could just do a full fucking analysis of the ballistic markings on the second bullet.
We didn't feel like it.
Clavier, I love you, but come on, we have to be thorough here.
This is Ace Attorney. The prosecution doesn't have to be thorough about anything.
Well, what about what Mr. Valent had told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. What might that be? I told you I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown. That's your story, at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. Valent. Recall what Prosecutor Gavin told us.
Compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with the bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match.
Yeah. Mr. Valent, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead.
Oh. Order. Well, this is all rather sudden.
Objection!
What have I done?
You weren't thorough enough about the second bullet.
Prosecutor Gavin? I owe the court an apology.
Because you weren't thorough enough about the second bullet?
Sorry.
Sorry for what, Clavier?
Let me bust out my ukulele really quick. See, I was unaware that 2 of these unique pistols were crafted. The analysis of the rifling marks proved only the type of gun that fired them.
Yeah, you mentioned. Are you talking about the one in Magnify as well? Or are you talking about just the clown one?
Objection!
But that's not what you told us before. You said you'd verified the murder weapon.
It is why I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add. You hold me accountable for a mistake made in my use.
teen still, so
I'm neurodivergent and a minor.
we'll let it slide, I guess. And also, you are very pretty. Like, oh my god, look
Yes.
at him.
I love him. What a guy.
Please, 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 let him bring the short hair back.
For real, I need the short hair back. It looks so much better.
That was just this morning.
I'm so young. And I might add, it wasn't really my fault.
It was the detective's fault for being an idiot, as usual.
Oh no. If the defendant had only admitted he took one pistol from the scene of the crime,
That's odd wording, but yes, if Zach had fucking said something.
we would not be having this pleasant discussion now. Alan Grammary,
Yes, Your Honor.
you were presented to this court as a decisive witness. But you've proven to be more divisive than decisive.
Objection!
You'll see in time. The testimony so far has been merely a review of the facts.
Facts in quotation marks.
The super real facts. The proof comes next. That's also me. I was waiting for the judge. Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin? No. When Mr. Valiant entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot.
According to him. This is
Yeah.
just, like, one word versus another word. We're not gonna get anywhere with this.
As his next testimony will prove, right, the real fight is about to begin.
Real fight, okay. Bring it.
Very well. Witness will now testify to the court. Help us determine who shot what.
I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m. After discovering the body, I fulfilled my obligation, then called the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. He was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. And the one in the room at that time was my partner, not me.
Those times are rather close, you have to admit.
It's very interesting that the doctor said 11:10 specifically.
Oh.
Because our autopsy report gives us a wide range.
Yes.
Oh, there's
Strange.
so much suspicious about that.
We're talking about an alibi established over a matter of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Use a 10-minute discrepancy as the basis of your alibi. Pretty whack, bro. It's easy to explain in this situation, Herr Judge. For example, our debut hit single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love.
Shameless plug.
Always be plugging. Due to the song, press the play button and it will play for 2 minutes 15 seconds. Do it 100 times and the result is the same.
Your point being? Other than shameless plug?
Buy my singles, that's the point. Magic is a world of utmost precision. Hocus pocus requires admirable focus.
Bar.
Like writing that down actively, like this is a good lyric. I should keep this in mind, just in case.
Actually, though.
And in the time of death, what? And in the time, and in the time of death determined by the doctors is an incontrovertible truce.
Do
That's a
we
hard
have
word.
that doctor on scene?
Where
at
is
all?
he?
Yeah. You keep mentioning this doctor. Because, like, now we have a completely unbiased witness in this situation.
Yeah.
So, like,
Doctor is actually on trial for a different crime. He's on trial for malpractice. Maybe you've heard of him. His name's Pal.
Because, seriously, you bring that doctor in, that doctor has seen the body, they, of course, as doctors, note the moment the body has been pronounced dead.
Mm-hmm.
And so they may be, like, I mean, a bullet to the head is pretty insta-kill. But you never know. Like, that one case they always bring up in psychology classes of the dude who got a bar through his skull and, like, still lived.
Oh, yeah.
So it can be survivable, like, shot through the head, but it's extremely unlikely. So if we have that doctor, unbiased witness, to come in and just please say, yes, I pronounced that person dead at 11:10 p.m., then, like, all this conjecture is no longer an issue. For the love of fuck.
Mm-hmm. Well, the prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times. And we can expect a cross-examination to require the same level of precision.
Oh, you got it.
It hopes the defense refrains from its customarily broad, sweeping accusations. Lest we blurs the focus this case so clearly demands. Taken. Baseless remarks will result in a penalty. Carry on, Mr. Wright.
Carry on. Right. So, yep, press everything. Hold it! 11:20 p.m. Can you prove that's when you arrived? Alas, such a feat may be beyond even the great Valent. For there was no one in that room but Magnifi, and he was departed after a fashion. Say that again?
I have here defendant Zach Gramarie's sworn deposition? Whatever. I snuck into his rooms that night at the appointed time. It was 10 minutes before I left the room, and the victim was still alive. The time indicated by this letter to Zach was 11:05 p.m. Exactly. Which means the witness could not have entered that room before 11:15. Because his partner was still in the middle of the crime. I see someone did their arithmetic homework. You see, the defendant himself has corroborated the witness's testimony.
Does that all make sense? Oh, they're threatening me? Oh, they're threatening me. Okay, let me... We'll let it go for now. I don't see a problem with that testimony.
You say so. Let's continue.
Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth.
Awesome.
Hold it! Didn't you say you called the police first? You walk in on a murder and the first thing you do is shoot the clown? The disciple does what the disciple must. My mentor's request, without reason, has caused for me a surfeit of sorrow. For what would I, Valent, be now without him? May the soul of Magnifi, the great, find greater peace above. This I muttered to myself as I pulled that lonely trigger.
In any case, I believe this is nothing more than what we have already learned. I'm still waiting for one of those right moments, Air Attorney. I almost just defaulted to Air Forehead.
Don't worry, we're getting there, we're getting there.
I'm just so excited. May I remind you that baseless remarks will earn penalties. See with that in mind.
Yeah. I got it.
Yeah.
Alright, hold it! I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctors be so precise with the time?
We do usually get only an estimated time of death, true. I'm sure I've ever heard of a verified time of death.
Yeah, usually you can only get super exact time of death if there was like some kind of other indicating factor.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, the watch broke as soon as he died from that one case.
Blunt force trauma or whatever.
Yeah. You know those machines that like track heartbeat and shit?
Yeah.
They don't happen to like also track the time, do they?
I don't know, I don't think so.
Well, maybe they should, because that would help with your time of death thing.
It would, yeah.
And they could say like heartbeat dropped, and if it was just a temporary drop, like heartbeat dropped at this time, returned at this time, or it can be like heartbeat ceased completely at this time. Like,
Yeah, they probably should do that.
they really should.
I know even when people die temporarily, like doctors are supposed to be like, okay, they were dead for like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Magic reveals in the making. Magic revels in making the complex appear simple, but reality is quite the opposite. What appears complex, in this case, is a simple matter of subtraction. Fuck your subtraction, where is the doctor who said that?
I see another person has done their arithmetic homework. I love arithmetic homework. The point here is the IVs the victim was taking.
The IV that's not in him? That was never administered to him? Because the needle is unused?
Quite visible in the photograph of the scene.
Yes, and?
Oh, wait, was it in his arm?
In the Magnify flashback?
In... What do
Or
you
in
mean,
the
Zack?
I meant the one that Zach talked about.
Oh, in the Zack flashback, neither of the needles were there.
Okay, because I just realized, like, I saw that it wasn't next to his bed, but I wasn't looking at his arm, so I guess it could have been there.
No,
I
neither
don't
of the
know.
needles were, like, anywhere in sight.
Okay.
Recall what we had heard. I don't remember if I read
Sorry.
that, actually. It's fine. Who cares? Every night at 11, Magnify took an IV drip for 30 minutes.
Uh-huh. At 11. Do you see an incision point? I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but, like, usually they...
Oh yeah, that's true. It can be pretty small, though.
Yeah,
I had to have an IV, like, a couple months ago, and I couldn't see the little pricky part.
yeah. But they still, like, put a gauze over it just in case. Although they wouldn't, they probably wouldn't bother if the body was already dead. It's like, what's the point of making sure it's not infected if the body's, like, already dead?
Yeah.
So, a lot of this is very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so he gets an IV at 11.
I can see the IV bag right there, yes. Now look a little closer. Follow the tube down from the bag to the end.
Yeah, the one that's taped to the bed and not in him?
Ah, the needle's been removed. Doubtlessly, it fell out when he was shot.
Okay, you don't know that.
Yeah, one, that is a pure assumption. That is pure speculation. Second of all, the needles go in deeper than I care to talk about because I'm a little iffy about needles.
Yeah.
But they're definitely not loose enough that they would fall out. Especially when they're, like, taped down as well to keep
Yeah.
them secure.
Really, they don't fall out unless you're like moving your arm a bunch, and by then it's gonna like cut up your insides a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Would seem to be the case.
Seem to be. You think
Even
it just
so-
fell into that position? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know how needles work or physics.
That is so like the needle on the bed is so deliberately placed. Like
When the needle comes out, the IV no longer drips.
no shit. You could just measure the remaining IV liquid.
Precisely. The IV liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determines the time of death.
So you're updating our autopsy report now?
Oh yeah. From the amount remaining in the bag, it was determined that the IV had stopped 10 minutes after administration began.
Fine. Fine. You get away with that one. It does check out. But I disagree with your notion that the needle fell out. So can we just update our autopsy report?
Be cool.
Please, just... I'd rather you update that than give me a separate thing. And so it was, when I, Valent, entered that room. 10 minutes had passed since the horrible crime was committed. And this is proof.
Well, Mr. Wright,
Did that seem important? Yes. Well, seeing as how it is the biggest clue we have to the time of death, I'd say it's very important.
agreed. It would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time.
Can we please just talk to this miscellaneous doctor? An unbiased witness?
Oh, the power of arithmetic.
Which loves arithmetic.
Very well. Witness will add this detail to his testimony.
Sometimes the most magical thing of all is truth itself. Yeah. Okay. The water of life springs not eternal. The remaining IV liquid proves my innocence. Well, the good news is that this is where our 10 minutes correlates.
Yeah.
I don't know how yet, but we now have a correlation. Anyway, so our current timeline is, he gets the IV right at 11. Zach comes in 11:05. Magnifi dies at 11:10. Then is out of there by 11:15. Then Grandmarie comes in at the other Grandmarie, Valent, comes in at 11:20. Found him already dead. Immediately got a doctor. Okay, so here's the thing. It's kind of just my general annoyance with this goddamn autopsy report.
Yeah.
Because if Valent, no matter which way, if Valent found the body at 11:20 or if he killed him at 11:20, then you could not reach all the way to 11:30 because he was already dead at 11:20. Pisses me off. Pisses me off. Anyway, hold it. Did you notice the IV by yourself by any chance? When I first entered that room, the stench of gunpowder assailed me. Next, the mark of death upon my mentor's forehead. And then, his left arm I did spy, a rose drooping and wilted. Its thorn, the discarded IV needle.
Knocked from the vein by the force of the shot. Luckily for you.
This is weak logic. Let's bring in the unbiased doctor.
If that IV had not been there, why, you might be a suspect.
Indubitably so. I might say it's thanks to my lucky color. Your
What?
lucky color? Yellow, I assume? Yes, even today I wear it proudly upon my suspect self. For it always, without fail, brings me luck. Why, when Zack and Valent won their first Magician's Grand Prix, yes, the very one held by the Association of International Magicians, I was adorned in this attire then too. And our trophy, a bust. Really now? Ah, what a day that was. Well.
Oh, wait. Magician's Grand Prix is the thing that Max was in. Oh, that's cute.
Remind me who Max is?
Maximilian Galactica.
Maximilian Galactica. Right.
Guy who's like, ooh, Regina, my sweetie pie, you're 16.
Fucking creep, yeah. I find it interesting that he bring this up. Cause like, I mean obviously characters ramble, but in Ace Attorney when they ramble, it's important.
Yeah.
Unless it's fucking Old Bag. We don't give a shit about Old Bag's rambling. If it's a
Yeah,
ramble,
she just
they
kinda
don't.
goes.
Yeah, if it's a ramble, they don't auto skip. It's important.
Yeah.
So do you think they cheated their way through the Grand Prix? And that's the secret?
Ooh. That'd be kind of fun.
Or maybe not cheated, but bribed. One of those two. This is one trap. Trip, not trap. This is one trap. Fuck. My lucky color, yes indeed. And that IV too. I say, I think 'twas hued especially for me, Valent. What, am I fucking pissed?
It does seem to be the case indeed, piss boy. Well, Mr. Wright, any thoughts on this testimony?
He says the IV was yellow, was it?
It looked green, but it was in a blue bag. So.
Oh.
So yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be fucking mad if that's what you have to press. Or not press, but present. Just say.
Probably is, honestly.
Good God,
I
please
feel like
don't let that be it. Because it looks green because it's in a blue bag, so therefore the liquid
Yeah.
is yellow. But if that's
definitely
your fucking
is,
reasoning,
but I feel like if that wasn't what you needed to present, then it would be clear that it's yellow. Like it already is because it's in a blue bag, but like I feel like if they wanted that to be like this isn't the contradiction, wouldn't they have put it in a clear bag from like a game design standpoint?
Yeah, and I mean, maybe some medical bags are blue. I don't know.
They can be. They're not usually, I don't think.
Not that I'm aware of. And then that's the other thing. Who the fuck would look directly at the IV bag? Because, like, suddenly
Yeah.
he's talking about it a lot. But I don't think that's something you would normally notice. You'd be like, holy shit, there's a dead body. And, like, anything else in the background, you do not focus on.
Why is he noticing this cool yellow IV bag?
Certainly sounds like your lucky colors brought you plenty of luck, but not this time. We got the cue, but the music's still going, so I don't know. Mr. Valent, your lucky colors betrayed you.
Yellow's betrayed us.
Yellow is sus.
I was thinking like that episode of SpongeBob where the pirate is like, SpongeBob betrayed us. I don't remember what it's from.
Anyway. I'm afraid you've lost me. Oh, music cut. I think this was the right thing.
Oh. That's dumb, but okay.
Your Honor. That's the basic line though. But we're getting the intense music. But
It's attorney, I'm getting mixed signals.
the witness's testimony just now clearly contradicts the evidence.
What?
Does it?
Please recall my warning at the beginning of this cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
It is doing this. It is doing this. You have to say it's a contradiction and then present the thing. Which is fucking ridiculous. Why not just let me present the thing directly? Whatever.
These accusations will be duly penalized.
I'm aware.
I do hope this latest accusation is well-based.
I'm trying. Don't worry, I've got all your bases right here.
I'm all about that base, Your Honor. Very well, let's hear the defense's claim.
Please give me just like a multiple choice and not just fucking like figure out what it is.
Your evidence that contradicts Mrs. Stroud.
Why do you make me do this? Ugh.
Take that!
It's fine. Does it? Music hasn't stopped yet.
Just saying the crime scene though, which is specific enough for Ace Attorney.
It is. The crime scene tells all, Your Honor.
Photo of the crime scene.
I think that's a good sign.
This talk of color has me yearning for black and white, clear-cut simplicity.
You're telling me.
Tell us, Wright, just where is the contradiction in this photo?
Don't make me click it. Don't make me click it.
I'm here.
Don't make me click it. My pleasure, and I assure you it's quite simple. But I can't promise anything in black and white.
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. They're playing the music like you gotta make a selection.
At the very least, I think this is an indication that we're in the right direction. But
Yeah.
sometimes, I feel like Ace Attorney does sometimes fake you out this far out.
Does, yeah.
What in this photo contradicts the witness's testimony? You gotta point at it.
May the Ace Attorney God save me.
Take that!
Music stopped.
Okay. Seems promising.
Valen Gremory, let's get one thing straight about your lucky color. It's yellow, yes? Kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes.
Something wrong with yellow, Mr. Wright?
Is this genuinely the correct direction? Yes, there is. Decisively wrong, in fact. Take another look at the photo of the crime scene.
What's this?
Is this genuinely the correct direction? Okay.
Ace Attorney.
Confusion, doubt. Tell us, what do your elderly eyes spy?
And my elderly eyes can see a problem here, Mr. Valent. Look at that IV bag. It's fucking green.
What is this? What foul magic?
That's given me the magic.
For real. I might start using that.
Me when I see a foul wizard.
Ace Attorney, please. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Phoenix, please. It would be hard to call the IV liquid yellow, and I'm afraid no magic was involved in the taking of this photograph. Alicus, no! Seriously?
Order, what does this mean?
First of all, Phoenix, who was an art major, fucking dumbass. Second of all, the magician going, oh shit, you're right?
I need a clavier, buddy. I know you're there.
Please.
Come on, please. Please do
Please have some
something,
common
clavier.
Objection!
Please.
Clavier, please. This is some kind of mistake. No, Clavier, you were the chosen one. Clavier, you were supposed to fix this.
Ah! Oh my god.
Clavier,
Oh my fucking god.
Clavier, come on, man. Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney, my behated sometimes. What's gonna happen?
Ace Attorney, my loved and my loathed.
Your witness's mistake.
Maybe he's gonna pop up and be like, oh, I just figured out how to save this. Maybe he's gonna do that like Edward sometimes does.
Clavier, please.
Please! The greener they are, the harder they fall. Phoenix, you were
Or
an
like
art
the
major.
fucking yellower they are, Phoenix. Come on.
I suppose there's no substitute for experience.
Phoenix!
Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Belle Grimmery, as you reminded us several times, your lucky color is yellow, but the IV is clearly not. Well, this contradiction can mean only one thing.
Objection!
Please?
Here, Clavier! And to sink. You almost had me. Yes! Finally, Clavier! You are the chosen one. It was you all along.
Not to be ungrateful that he's saving us, but he should have figured that out instantly. It shouldn't have taken him, like, a solid 30 seconds.
Just took a second for
Thank
his
you,
critical
Javier.
thinking
This
skills
is why
to
you're the
boot up.
best. This is so fucking dumb.
Phoenix with this question mark. What do you mean, Phoenix? I see your true colors now, Ace Attorney Phoenix, right?
Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin?
Can't fucking believe. Clavier is the youngest person in this room right now. He is not
And
even
the
18
only one
yet.
with a brain.
He's the only one. The only one who's not a fucking idiot.
As far as this court can tell, the witness's testimony does contradict the evidence.
Ha ha ha. Yes, a contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand back to Mr. Wright.
Please do. Phoenix Wright is such a fucking
Here, we
dumbass
needed
for this.
He was an art major and he doesn't fucking know.
They wouldn't let us get this far if this wasn't the correct path, right?
Definitely not. At this point, no way.
How do you mean?
Oh, because the witness has made no mistakes.
But it's very funny that he thought he did.
Yeah.
I agree, at a glance, the IV liquid does appear a sort of greenish yellow.
I mean, greenish yellow alone. You're already admitting it's yellow enough.
Yeah.
I assure you, the liquid itself is quite yellow.
Prove it. What, should I go fucking stab the bag? Good god, use your brain.
Drank it. It tastes like lemons. That's how I know. Hello, liquid. How can you say that?
It tastes like lemons, that's how I know.
Clavier just drinking evidence.
It's a lemon lime Kool-Aid. Yummy. As far as I can tell from this photo, it's green. Yes, but what color is the IV bag itself?
I can't believe we have to paint this out for a room of adults.
Really?
The bag? You mean the plastic bag on the hook? Ah.
Yeah, that bag. Fucking what else? You mean a Target shopping bag? Come on, Phoenix. Use your brain.
It looks like, I want to say light blue.
Thank you! Thank you, Mr. Judge. Now, when you mix yellow and blue together, what color would you get? These fucking kindergartners.
Precisely. Figured it out yet?
I figured it out a long time ago, Javier.
Put a yellow liquid in a blue bag and...
You get green.
Finally, Phoenix! Thank fuck! This, incidentally, is the liquid's true color.
Wow, it's yellow. Who would have guessed? Why do we need
Who
to
on
establish
earth would
this?
have ever assumed this? Oh my god, oh my god! It is a miracle! I see! For explanation of... it sounds right.
Objection!
The fuck are you on about?
Phoenix, don't try to object this.
What else do you have? What else could you possibly push here? Unless you're gonna mention that the magician thought he was incorrect for thinking yellow. In which case we can work
yeah.
with that.
That
we can
is
work with
fair.
that. And or our argument that who the fuck would pay attention to an IV when there's a dead body.
Yeah, that also.
I'm not even gonna.
What?
Experience my ass. You were an art major.
I love Phoenix, but he's so stupid sometimes.
You may tell a good tale. Phoenix!
Phoenix! Come on!
You sound like a prosecutor right now.
Ah!
I don't know what you're on about, but seriously, this is like you're trying to deny gravity right now. But you've just proven something rather grave. For you, that is.
Grave? But you're going to kill me? Ooh, I'm so scared.
The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes. But how did this witness know?
X. It took like 2 seconds of critical thought, man.
You don't even need critical thought.
It took 1 second of thinking about it and going, oh, the bag is blue.
Phoenix, you're only allowed to get away with this because Valent did immediately go, shit, I've been caught in a lie.
Yeah, that's suspicious as fuck.
That is way suspicious because he could have just easily gone, you're just a fucking dumbass, Phoenix, right?
Yeah, he could have, like, he could have just done the, like, red, white from Blue Corp angle, where, like, it's the fucking thing where he's like, but I did see Miss Faye run to the right, or whatever. Like, it's very clear in that moment that, like, oh, what he's saying is the truth. It could have been that, but no, he made that dumb, shocked expression where he's like, oh, fuck, I've been caught. Like, what?
Dumbasses, the lot of them. Except Clavier. Not you, Clavier. Never
Yeah.
you.
Javier, perfect boy.
But how did the witness know that? Basic thinking skill. Basic. Unless he's colorblind.
Oh, true.
It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Again, this takes like a second to process. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
This attorney, you're better than this. I know you are.
Maybe this is why he fucking lost his badge, not the forged evidence, because
Just because he didn't know about the color yellow.
okay.
Judge went, you're too stupid for this, Phoenix. Come on, you're better than this.
Okay.
You come back once you've learned to play the piano.
And then he never learned.
The incident is literally just the fact that he didn't know yellow. It's not that he presented forged evidence. It's just he doesn't know yellow.
Your Honor, the defense requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appears to be green. So let me ask, how did the witness know the IV liquid was actually yellow? OMG!
I need to work OMG into my vocabulary. Order! Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once.
Yeah, you better have a good fucking explanation for this.
Witness clearly knew the color of the IV liquid.
But he's acting like he shouldn't have. I need an explanation, Phoenix. Why the fuck was this a necessary line of questioning?
So I'm sure it means something, but what?
This is so stupid. This is so stupid. I can think of only one possibility, Your Honor. The witness, Valent Grand-Marie, has testified that the IV liquid was yellow because... See, here's the thing. The correct answer is that it looked yellow. Because it is yellow. God, this is so stupid. I'm glad I saved because all of these are possible. It looked yellow.
Yeah.
It did look yellow. That is factually correct. But that's not what they want out of us.
Yeah, they want something, like, incriminating.
It was either he'd seen it before, or he knew the IV liquid's color, which is almost saying the same thing. Almost.
Yeah, that's like, very similar.
Yeah. Those are very similar, which makes it really hard. I think saying he knew the IV liquid's color would imply that he took the IV out of Magnifi, which is the story I'm going with. And then I think he'd seen it before would reference the fact that he is very knowledgeable about medicine.
True.
I saved, so we can flip a coin and go either way, but any thoughts?
Yeah.
Because honestly,
It is weird that he knows a lot about medicine, like
is.
stomach medicine in particular. So I'm kind of inclined to lean towards that, because that is a weird detail, but I don't know if the game expects us to remember that.
I think it's Ace Attorney. I think it would be.
Never know sometimes.
Well-
The game expected us to look at a blue bag with a yellow liquid in it and go, but it's green.
True. True. Well, we saved, so we're gonna
Yeah.
lock this one in. No music stop yet, but we'll see. From the facts before us, the answer is clear. The witness knew that the IV liquid was yellow. Why? We got the, sound cue. Why? Because he'd seen it before. But not inside the blue bag we see in the photo. He saw the liquid by itself, in a clear, colorless bag.
I suppose he would have had to, but I'm still not clear as to what that means.
I'm not clear either, Judge. Ask yourself.
There is Phoenix, probably.
Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at a hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, Your Honor.
Objection!
What does this have to do with anything?
I'm afraid I find nothing. So what if he knows the IV liquid's color?
Clavier, why are you squinting so much? That is a perfectly valid point.
It's really warm in here, that's why I'm sweating, no other reason. Leaves are getting excited over absolutely nothing to our teeny bopper fans, yeah?
Real.
Objection!
1 second.
The IV liquid is the only evidence proving the time of death. A 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Oh!
Oh.
Interesting. But also, the way you got here is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin.
I remember it well.
However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag.
Wait, I know. An hourglass uses sand, but an IV bag uses liquid.
Almost.
I'm right, right?
Technically, but we're getting at something that
You-
needs a little more critical
kinda
thinking
got
here,
it.
Judge.
A little confused, but he's got the spirit.
As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honor, no. Unlike the sands through an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body, at which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid had increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing how much it is.
Objection!
Let me get this straight, right? You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag?
Something like that. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah. Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow. Oh, that's me. No, now wait. Wait, I said wait.
I thought you were just saying nuh-uh.
Objection, you're not an amateur. How might an amateur, such as myself, essay to perform such a task?
Objection!
Oh my god, I would love it if he had the exact same thing as the fucking noodle guy where it was like, I wanted to be a doctor, but then I had to take up the family business of being a magician.
That would be funny as hell. I'm an amateur too, clearly. But I can pour water into it.
Objection!
I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite.
And on top of that, you said that he put more of the same medicine in, not water. You said that, like, 30 seconds ago.
You prove our witness is capable of such a feat? As a point, amateurs. I at least would have some difficulty pouring IV liquid into that bag.
don't need to be an expert to see that look on the witness's face. He added liquid to that IV to throw off the time of death.
Tired of these fairy tales lacking evidence.
Me too, Clavier. Me too.
Oh, Mr. Wright, any solid evidence to bring us back down to Earth?
Please bring us back down to Earth, because good God. Anyway. I don't have any, fucking record of the doctor saying, wow, you sure know a lot about medicine.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because
Be
that's
cool,
it.
be good.
Oh, this maybe. Maybe this finally comes into play.
Oh, yeah!
Or I could say this and say, remember the conversation we had? And how the doctor you talked about mentioned you knew a fuck ton about medicine? But no, I think it's the syringe that we've been, not literally sitting on, but you know what I mean. Valen Gramarye, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime. Might I ask what you're strongly suggesting? Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was... I say for good.
Syringe.
Take that!
Victim syringe.
It's the perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick. And easy enough for an amateur.
Objection!
What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid in it.
Because he's not a dumbass, he washed it.
Objection!
And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin?
What?
The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valen Gramarye, as you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes the perfect clock. One that you could manipulate at will. Alakazam!
I do believe, well, with this being his first, the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin.
But we haven't even used the falsified evidence yet.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that while there is a doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, time of death cannot be proven. That brings our trial to a close for today.
Oh, this is a multi-day thing. Okay.
Oh.
Maybe I can... Well, maybe I can squeeze an extra day out of this. I can do a little much-needed investigation work.
I see there are no objections, so okay.
I know that song anyway.
Truly, there's no substitute for experience.
You keep on fucking saying this, but our judge is so fucking old, and he's a fucking dumbass, so...
Yeah.
Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively.
Yes.
Word to the wise. Underestimates the young, and they'll they'll sweep your feet out from under you.
Is that a saying? I don't care.
I don't think
Clavier
so.
has the upper hand, and I love that.
In a way you never, ever expected. See, I know exactly what you're thinking.
Clavier, you're so amazing and the only sensible one here. Thank you for being so amazing. What's he talking about?
You say the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of the IV liquid. There's no proof.
Because he washed away the proof. It's all conjecture. Nice going. There's no proof he didn't do it either.
Yes, quite true.
Ah, he's admitting it?
Or was this witness quite as decisive as I'd hoped? This I admit. After all, why linger in the past when the future holds so much?
We love a man who can admit his mistakes.
Yeah, he was young back then. You have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin? Oof, Judge. I have another way to prove my case.
Do tell.
It's evidence, no less.
Oh.
What's this? This is the victim, Magnifi Grammary's diary.
Diary.
After going into the hospital, Magnifi began writing his memoirs, it seems. The story of his birth, his starting debut, and of meeting his disciples. It seems he intended for the last chapter to end, quite appropriately, with his death.
So that's why he wanted to be executed rather than wait for the clock to run out. Because then he could know exactly when he was gonna die.
Yeah.
And, like, make sure he gets everything written down beforehand. Because, like, if you're waiting for the clock to run out, you don't know when that's gonna happen. You have an estimation, but you're not certain. And so, it could have taken him out before he had everything written down, you know?
Yeah.
So, I see his logic for, like, ordering his own death. But anyway, so now the diary's in play, teehee.
Hey.
Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request?
Sadly, it does not.
Damn.
That would be cool, though. What's important here is on the last page. Apparently, the victim wrote in his journal that night. Even after the IV had begun at 11 p.m. Let's read it, shall we?
Please.
This does appear to have been written just before his death.
Tonight's IV is in. Maybe the last. I leave the rest to them. The first should come soon. This journal may end here, or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. All that is left to mine is to lay down this pen. And then there's a torn out page. And we have the supposed torn out page, but I can tell you right now, those tears don't line up. Like, look at that. Those tears do not.
Yeah. The court accepts this into evidence. Read the very last part with particular care. This journal may end here, or it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. Of course, by his.
It could be either of the Grammary, not actually brothers, but I might as well call them brothers.
Yeah. Others in magic dealings, I suppose. It refers to our defendant, Zach Grammary.
Let's just keep going.
That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor, after all. But look at what he said before that. This journal may end here, or it may go on. It may go on. Magnifi Grammary intended to write again. He kind of didn't, but okay. That is... Zach Grammary didn't pull the trigger. I see the defense understands the meaning of this. The victim's diary does not go on, it ends.
Javier, you can see the fucking torn out page, can't you? I mean, not the page that's not there, but like the remainders of the page? Come on. Come on.
Can't prove something that's written on it.
True, and then that's where we pull it out.
Because Magnafie's life was brought to an end by the defendant, Zach Grammary. Order, Prosecutor Gavin! Are you certain that Magnafie Grammary wrote this?
Actually, well, we can, let's take a look at it, teehee. I wanna see. Oh, yep, there it is. There's the top hat on the back.
Yeah.
Anything else about this? A little, like, white binding thing? And then pretty basic, otherwise. Oh.
Huh.
This is the last page. The diary ends here. Gasp! No, it doesn't. Huh? What's this? It looks like a page was ripped out? Well, now isn't that interesting? Tee-hee-hee-hee-hee-hee.
There's no mistaking in handwriting. Well, this does seem to be significant. According to this, Magnafie did intend to continue his diary.
Only if he didn't die right then and there.
If his diary ended here, which it plainly did, then the one who pulled the trigger was the visitor, Zach Grammary. Well, how do you like me now, Ale Wright?
You're a fine prosecutor, dear Clavier, and I have no doubt you will become an absolutely amazing prosecutor. And I'm glad that I get to be your first case. Because you seem like an amazing person, and you're the only one with any fucking goddamn common sense!
Picturing Phoenix, like, you know that one thing that was like a meme on TikTok for a while where it's someone like running around and then they like run into someone and go, "You are gay!" I'm
Yes.
picturing Phoenix doing that to Clavier right now.
Oh my god, real.
Still too green for your tastes,
Clavier, you have full permission to hold this against Phoenix for the rest of his life. He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find it hard to believe that he'd overlook such an obvious problem with this precious evidence.
Well, Mr. Wright, witness's testimony we heard was lacking. Put together with this evidence, it seems quite sufficient for a case.
I also saw a comic on Tumblr earlier of just the fucking back and forth of, Kristoff pulling out falsified evidence after falsified evidence, and, fucking Von Karma Sr., just pulling out all the fucking tampered evidence with tampered evidence. Like, it would
Trial
be a
between them
never-ending
would go
cycle.
insane.
It'd be a never-ending cycle because they would both just like make up whatever the fuck they needed to make their case work.
They would set a world record for most falsified evidence ever seen.
Maybe it's time to show them something. Yeah, let's give them the thing. I'm left with no choice but to show my own evidence.
What? Sorry, I was looking at my cat.
All good.
I have some evidence that overturns this diary? It's not too late to resync this and avoid more embarrassment. Very well. Please show us your evidence, Mr. Wright. Incidentally, don't even think of showing us this diary I've just shown the court. Now that we've come this far, I hope you have something a little more decisive.
I mean,
Show us evidence that proves the victim continued writing his diary.
alright, I'd be happy to. The decisive evidence proving that this diary didn't end with this page is... Wrong button. Take that! First, take a close look at the diary. I don't know how you didn't see this earlier. Note that a page has clearly been ripped out.
What's this? Didn't notice that at all.
That's why we're still here talking about this. As it just so happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. Good lawyer talk. Good lawyer talk.
Yeah.
What I believe to be. Good lawyer talk. That saves you.
Good job, Phoenix.
Alika, I don't believe it. Looking at this page, it's hard to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnifique Grand Marie. That's the defense's position.
Wait, let me see that.
Are you gonna try and line them up and find that they don't line up? Because please, they don't line up. Okay, fuck, they might.
What in Sam Hill? Like a grandpa thing to say.
Real.
Why, this is the continuation of the victim's diary.
I need you to show me a fucking animation where, like, you slot the page into the teared part and show that it lines up, because I don't think it lines up properly right now. Laid out flat like this? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, why do you always have to show it closed? Why can't you let me see them side by side, you motherfucker? Okay. Whatever. So, just to be fucking absolutely 100% certain, because I love Rose. Yeah, it's not exact. An argument can be made for it, but it's not exact. Note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match.
Not,
it?
But...
Is it? I don't think so. I don't think so. Do you want me to pull it up for a third fucking time? Because I will. And you know what? I'm going to. Because I'm just so fucking pissed off at Phoenix Wright. Let's open it up again.
Phoenix has lost his badge privileges, not because of falsified evidence, just because he's a little bit too dumb.
Yeah, the last page. Okay. So, the thing to point out here is that the tears on this, like, remaining edge bit like, at some points, they do come to, like, proper points. Like, fully, like cut edges, almost. And maybe it was cut, who knows? But this looks cut. It has sharper lines, sharper edges.
Kara needs to get better at fucking forging evidence, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it was her first thing not a painting, so.
True. And she is like 12.
Yeah. So, that was a lot of, like, sharp edges and sharp points. This outline has not a single sharp point. It has rigid edges, rigid points. It's not exact. Fuck you. Quite remarkable.
Do you care to explain what all this means, Heir Attorney?
He wouldn't have kept writing if Zack had killed him. Blah, blah, blah. The diary continued after his first visitor came. which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Gremery left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor. Valent Gremery! No! No!
Handwriting too matches that on the other pages. This is without a doubt the genuine article. If a 12-year-old made this, she's very talented. Order, order, order.
Why doesn't this judge have glasses yet? I think he really needs them.
Yeah.
But wait! That's impossible! The old man couldn't have written that.
Objection!
Yes, dear Clavier?
Finally. Presented the falsified evidence at last. Just couldn't resist, could
Resist what? Presenting solid evidence?
judge.
Did he find the actual torn out page?
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin.
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin?
Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold?
Please do.
Prosecution would like to call a new witness.
Trucy, who found this sheet?
Prosecutor Gavin. This evidence overturns the current witnesses.
Ask only to put it on hold. Please, my new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise, Your Honor.
Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what's your take on this?
I mean, for our own case, we should say no, but gotta be a good sport about it, you know? Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway. And it's his first case. So,
Yeah.
it might as well be sooner.
And though this is highly, highly irregular, we will put the current cross-examination on hold. Witness may step down. Now, Prosecutor Gavin, please bring this surprise witness to the courtroom.
I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped out page was too obvious. He must have known. And I should have known it was a bad sign all around. Oh, holy shit.
It's true. Holding trial with no audience is a first, even for me, Prosecutor Gavin.
Begs the court's understanding. I had to make a judiciary deal with this witness to secure his testimony.
A judiciary deal?
The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. I thought it best to contain the information to this room.
Very well. And you are the witness, I gather?
This guy has never spoken before.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd have to give him a voice.
Want me to take him?
Yes, please.
Okay. I don't know what he will sound like.
Yes, sir.
He's vaguely British for some reason, I don't know why.
Work with it.
State your name and occupation for the record.
My name's Drew Misham. I'm a painter. Painter? And you are somehow related to this case? Well, not per se.
I have one simple question for this witness.
Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Yeah, I know it well.
How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I made it.
You... what? You made it?
Yes. You might call it one of my works. The prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday.
A tip-off from who?
Legal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Gramarye. Legal evidence? They initiated an investigation and found this witness. Painter to the world at large, Drew Misham has another side, you might say. He's skilled in making perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, in other words.
Forgeries?
Well, so, we are to understand that this page here is...
And again, both times we met Trucy, she was fucking handing the defense attorney falsified evidence.
Gives out falsified evidence like it's candy, bro.
Fake, prepared by a certain defense attorney.
Objection!
Hold it. I didn't prepare this evidence.
Objection!
Oh boy. Ah, the attorney speaks. Something about this page, I presume. But what is he saying? It makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us, Phoenix, right?
Honest to God, I don't know why Clavier hasn't been fucking harsher on Phoenix, right? Like, honestly.
He's trying to look cool.
I mean, yeah. But on, like, in the future / present, whatever fucking relation to the timeline we have, I don't know why he doesn't, like, fucking make some snide remark every time Phoenix is named.
Yeah.
He really should, and he deserves to.
Every time Phoenix gets mentioned, he's like, oh, the liar. Interesting. Goodness, Mr. Misham, was it? Who requested this forgery? Who was your client?
Who indeed?
And, I don't know.
What?
My clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. They make the items they want, and they receive my payment.
And unfortunately, that's all we have to go off of, because we can't use the future knowledge of, the fact that they did meet the buyer on this one.
He's into my contract with them.
Objection!
But there's no proof this is a fake.
It's a fake.
Huh?
To avoid just this sort of problem, let's put a special mark on my works. They, without a doubt, is mine.
What's your special mark? We're not allowed to flip it over, so. And also, it would have to be a very subtle special mark, because if it were an obvious special mark, it would be a fake immediately.
Mr. Right.
Oh, is his special mark that, like, the sketches are different than the paintings on top?
Oh, maybe.
That makes so much sense. But then also, what is it for this specific case? Because this isn't a painting.
You have just presented illegal evidence to this court. My court.
It was careless of me. That's all I can say.
Oh boy. Here.
What's this?
Hello. I just got it over there in the hall. Told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair.
No one questions instructions for children?
They said it was really important.
It was all a trap. A fatal trap.
Mr. Wright,
Yes.
do you have an explanation for yourself? Weird little girl gave it to me.
If I did, would the court hear it?
Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime. Presenting it in court, a serious mistake. Fatal mistake for an attorney. Fatal too, perhaps for your client, I fear. Oops. I mean, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence?
One who was duped, but
The answer is quite clear. Guilty, pardon.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait. I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime. But you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright.
Selfless to the end. Your Honor?
As a close call, I dare say. The prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip.
See, that's the thing, isn't it? So first of all, he got the tip in the first place, which
Yeah.
should cast suspicion on that. Second of all, how did Clavier know exactly which piece was the falsified one? And if he was told that on the tip, then that should shed even more suspicion.
Yeah. Everything would have gone the way you wanted it to, yeah? Even gave you a chance.
You sure did.
Glad you decided not to sink before embarrassing yourself.
I'm sorry, I was doomed by the narrative.
I see no need for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed. Still here. Mr. Attorney,
Yes?
I ask your name.
Phoenix Wright.
Mr. Wright. I've seen and studied many people, but none like you. I remember you, Mr. Wright. Oh, I deeply regret having to declare a verdict this way. This trial is over.
Dude, you lost. Why the fuck are you smiling like that?
I have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal.
Oh, never mind.
However, this court must...
Your Honor,
Yes, Mr. Zack.
there is one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible.
I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly have the authority to declare a verdict on you.
Except, tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant does not exist?
Doesn't exist? What are you talking about?
I am talking about this. Mr. Enigmar.
The defendant's escaped. Find him, quick! Bailiff, close all exits from the building. The double, he must not be allowed to escape. I didn't realize that was still him.
That day, in that courtroom, a miracle occurred. The defendant, Shady Enigmar, aka Zach Gremery, did not just escape from court. He literally, unbelievably, vanished. Right before the bailiff's eyes. No one ever saw him again. Not since that day. This is the Gramarye miracle. Ah ha 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 ha. No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zach Gramarye vanished, along with him, for all eternity. It's only been 7 years. I wouldn't call that eternity, but whatever. Holy fuck, I've never seen the chair empty. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however. But not until 7 years later.
That's all for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Kendra's channel, and I will see you later, whenever later may be.